I do not consider it a stupid superstition that overtakes human Karu for the harm caused to the cat. In my life I have seen it many times. The confirmation on some law of karma was very destructive. Remember the case as a kid from our yard tied to a cat like a parachute from the old umbrella and threw her off the roof. 5-story building. I myself am not atrocities. I saw it, but a friend of mine told me that the cat fell on the concrete and crawled into basement window on one front paws. It is clear that during the fall it was badly damaged. Pelvis and hind limbs not gone, and years since this juvenile fiend received similar injury. He was paralyzed on both legs. He was disabled. Another such boasted that for several hung the cats and loved to describe torment of suffocating animals. The smallest details. This geek retribution overtook much later years. In 10, he became terminally ill and fused by his brother to the House of Invalids, where he soon hanged himself. This all from childhood memories and from fresh cases. For example, the fate of a pupil boarding school for mentally retarded children. I happened to live in a house for a while next door to this establishment, in addition to animal cries which every now and then came from behind the concrete fence. From there, periodically flew out boards, bricks, and other shells directly on parked nearby cars. Special supervision. These wild children did not seem to be kids with a lack of intelligence. In gangs wandered around the boarding school yard, sometimes climbing over the fence to freedom. Well, how? Already said they threw whatever came to hand through this fence out. Crashed on the roof of my car. Another projectile. At first I didn't even realize what was thrown there. When looked horrified. It turned out kitten from tail to head, as if in wrapped aluminum shell wire. Unfortunately already dead. Then I went to see the director. Boarding school, from where I know the culprit. After a while time this ghoul with friends climbed onto the roof of one of the high-rise buildings, where he slipped and fell to his death. Height down on the car. But next, I especially remember the mystical incident. I'll tell you more. Our distant, a relative of Claudius, then lived in apartment inherited from her grandmother. The woman was about 30, was not married, lived with a cat, large sand cat, color in dark stripes, called Katka. This cat appeared to their family a long time ago, when Clava was still a girl and lived with parents. At the time of the events described, the cat was in a rather advanced 17 years of age, but had courage, completely youthful, played with wrapper on a thread, or even just drove in a spacious apartment from excess energy. It understandably fed her quality feed, and not poison type whiskas or kitakita. A feature of Katia was that she loved to cuddle, in the truest sense of the word. When in the house one of the acquaintances or a relative came, Katka jumped on the chest of drawers in the hallway, and from there she stood up on her hind legs, pulled outstretched front paws to the guest, and when he approached her, she grabbed her neck in a completely human way, screwed up her green eyes, and murmured hello. Once Claudius met a man, his name was Sergei. Soon the lovers began to live under one roof. Relationship between Sergei and the Claves seemed cloudless. The woman, completely transformed, happy. The smile did not leave her face. Only with cat Katka he did not find a common language. Not from the fact that she shunned him, no. Just in his own words, since the childhood of cats. Couldn't take it to heart. Even Katka, and tried at first like the rest. Concludes Sergei in You're Welcome. Hugs. But he only turned up his nose. They say wool on clothes from these cats smell. Even with time. Imply that from the animal in time to get rid of the house. Only Clava, of course. Everything such proposals are strictly Rejected. How to get rid of a penis. Families. And Katya for her with her parents. Considered a full member of the family. They. Treated like a child, and she. They have been for almost 2 decades. But Sergey. Everything I didn't let up, no, yes, I started talking. That it would be nice to give Katya to. Good hands to someone from girlfriends. So or. The same parents. But Klava did not go to. A compromise to please his Seryoza. And that it. Very annoying. Katya did not hide his. Hostility offended at every opportunity. Case. Then yell at her how much in vain. Driving under the sofa. Then he will launch with a slipper, then. Sings at all. Once Claudius coming home. Caught him from work early. How he poured urine from the cat's tray into the corner of the room. They say Katka shat. The scoundrel wanted to frame the cat. After that case, the relationship between them cooled off. And Sergey Vanil in this cat. Once Claudia returned home. Late, usually the cat Katya is already waiting impatiently sitting in the hallway on chest of drawers. And here no one pulls it towards fluffy paws loudly and murmuring happily. And what about Katka, where is she? Why does not meet me, with increasing anxious woman asked. A man lounging in front of the TV. He raised his eyebrows in surprise. Don't know myself. Came and did not see her. Throwing bags with products at the thresholds alarmed. The woman began to look into everything. Secluded corners in the apartment where sometimes hiding from male anger Katka. But cats and the trail caught a cold. It was completely, inexplicably, Katka from birth. Domestic cat, did not walk on the street. Never in almost 20 years never. Lost and from the house, did not disappear. And here, like through the ground. All night Claudia could close my eyes, the tears themselves all flowed and flowed in streams. Called my parents. Then to all my friends and family. Suddenly Katya decided somehow. Travel around the guests, but none of her. Did not see. Sergey, who was tired of this turmoil, going to bed with annoyance. Said, well, something for some cat. As if you are killing a person, lie down. Sleep already can be found, then soon. Fell asleep. Claudia could not sleep, in full. Upset sat on the edge of the bed and frantically turned over in my head possible loss options. And suddenly glance accidentally stopped at the hands of a sleeping person, twisted out from under the blanket. Men, the brush was scratched. Unpleasant. Chills ran through the body. Really, really. This is Seryoza. Yes, no, my beloved man could not do something bad to the cat. He knows how Katya is dear to me. No. No again, no. Not becoming. Wake up in the middle night, waited for the morning, and only then I asked about scratches on my hands. Cereza muttered something unintelligible. Yesterday at work I accidentally injured myself. Although, where can I do paperwork in my office? So hurt. But other evidence. Involvement in the disappearance of Katya. Was. And he himself convinced Claudia that the cat. She probably slipped imperceptibly behind door. Maybe when he came home. So. What can come back? Days went by days. A month has passed. And the cat, contrary to hopes. Mistress and more confident men are still not returned. Mourning for the missing Katya. Claudia invested her only black and white photograph in a frame. Put it on the bookshelf. Bed so that the native muzzle is always was nearby. Returning every evening. Work opening the door to Claudia's apartment with bated breath. I expected that suddenly a miracle will happen. She will again see the clear Katya's purring eyes, and will feel on neck fluffy hugs. But no miracle happened. Only Sergey was waiting at home. Which she did not feel now that close relationship which was still a couple months ago, although he assured that he always. Katya interferes with their relationship, now she is not. Became. And the relationship didn't get very far. Better. But they continued to live together. One morning Claudia woke up and habit raised her eyes to the shelf with Katka's photo. But then it's like a dream. Removed by hand. Photo on bookcase. There was a woman in bewilderment sat on bed, and then I understood everything. Terrifying. The picture appeared before my eyes. Head, lying next to Sergei, was turned to. A bruise on the side and on the temple. Near pillow rested a photo frame, from it on. Claudius, as if alive, looked at her. Katya's eyes. Sergei was buried. Death as a result of an accident. Heavy glass photo frame at night. Spontaneously fell down right angle in. The temple of a sleeping man. Never trust people who don't like animals. But trust the animal if it don't like the person. Unfortunately, my friend. I didn't understand it right away, but after a couple of years. Remarried, 3 years later she gave birth. A girl named Katya. She had sandy hair and almost green cat's eyes.